Welcome to Running Up the Score. I am Alex Kennedy. This is my new show that airs every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk all things NBA, NFL, all sports. Today we have a special guest joining me. Kevin Garnett's Big Ticket Sports is launching a new 3-on-3 basketball league called Str33t. They're launching it in conjunction with Pro League Network. And we're joined today by Big Ticket Sports CEO, George Daniel. George, how are you?
Alex, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here today.
I'm very excited to talk about this. I think it's so cool that, they're getting involved in this 3-on-3 league. How did the idea for the Str33t 3-on-3 league come together, and why did Big Ticket Sports decide to get involved?
Yeah, so, going back 2019, Kevin Garnett, we just formed this company, and we acquired Hoop It Up, which is the iconic 3x3 basketball platform. And at the time when we acquired it, Hoop It Up has a great tradition going back to 1989, and we just thought it was a great basketball property. Looking at the 3x3 space and understanding that 3x3 basketball is going into the Olympics, we just felt like it was a great platform. But at the time, we had visions of eventually creating an aspirational pro league. Given the fact that 3x3 was going into the Olympics, given the fact that we could see that gambling was proliferating through the states, who had become starting to become legalized in 2018, we thought 3x3 could potentially be a great bettable platform. And it was always something on our radar. Obviously, COVID came and set us back a couple of years, but this was always something we were thinking about as we were continuing to grow and kind of relaunch Hoop It Up post-COVID. We created a Hoop It Up Pro-Am League, which was kind of the forerunner to Str33t, in that we have teams that play in our tournaments, and the winners come together for a national championship, and it's sanctioned by FIBA. So we've really leaned into the whole Olympic movement, and we really believe in 3x3 basketball. The games are quick, they're fast, they're action packed, and it's a great basketball product.
It definitely seems like 3-on-3 basketball is getting more and more popular. You mentioned it being added to the Olympics. How much potential do you think there is in 3-on-3 basketball as a sport going forward?
Yeah, obviously, we're creating Str33t, so we obviously are very bullish on it. I think the things about 3x3 basketball, which I think give it huge potential, are the fact that the games are 10-minute games, first team of 21. So the games only take like 15 minutes in real time. And a team could play multiple games in the same day. So you can literally schedule a game every 20 minutes, not with the same teams, of course, but on the same court. And that gives us the opportunity to just have fast, streamable, bettable content, one game after another. And I think it's just tailor-made for, the next generation of sports viewers, and particularly basketball viewers. Look, I love watching the NBA. I love watching college basketball. But, younger audiences, a lot of people are cutting cable. There's just consuming games and sports on your phone and your mobile devices is just becoming more prevalent. This is maybe one of the only few sporting events that you could seriously watch the whole event on your phone. It's only 10, 15 minutes. I know you theoretically can watch a whole NFL game or an NBA game on your phone, but the reality is most people don't do that. This is something you can actually watch on your phone for 15 minutes, the entire game, from a practical standpoint. So I think that we're very bullish on it for those reasons.
Yeah, I talked to the creator of Slam Ball and how they brought that back, and he kind of made the same point that attention spans are smaller and shorter than ever. So, people are basically watching highlights. So any sport where you can have the games be quick and, easily digested, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think it resonates a lot with today's younger fans. How will Str33t be different from some of the existing 3-on-3 leagues?
Well, I mean, the question we get asked the most is about the big three, that primarily. And look, we love the big three. We think, it's great, but it's a much different game. The big three are hour-long games. The talent pool is essentially former NBA players for the most part. And, it's a great platform. But what we're doing is something significantly different. As I said, we're playing the Olympic rules, the FIBA rules every 10 minutes. So the games are quick, they're fast. And the players are really players who play their way up from the street. Guys who are dedicated to playing 3x3 basketball. Not necessarily, we will get, and we add even and hoop it up, our Pro Am events, an occasional former G League player, or an NBA, even a former NBA player has opted into some of our events. But it's not like we're targeting former NBA players like the big three. We're just simply getting the guys who are dedicated to playing 3x3 basketball. The guys who are going to play street and who've been playing hoop it up are dedicated. They play 3x3, wherever they can get a tournament, an event going. They travel to them, and there's a whole talented guys that are just, already organically have developed. In addition to that, I think once we went street, people know that there is this kind of platform. We think we'll be getting more players involved. Plus, I think different than anything else, we're also going to have women as well. But it's, I don't think anyone else has kind of done on at least on that kind of level. There is some women 3x3. I know there's the Force organization based with the Seattle Storm do a great job with it. But we're just going to create another platform for women. And also, we're planning to have co-ed competition, which is something that's unique. And so we're going to have men, we're going to have women, we're going to have co-ed. So I think it's just completely different from anything anyone else has done.
How much of an advantage is it having Kevin Garnett involved as well? I mean, players obviously respect him. He's a legend. Being able to have him involved, and then also just with all your ventures, since, again, for people that don't know, you're the CEO of Big Ticket Sports. How much of an advantage is it just having KG involved in all these projects and ventures?
Well, Kevin is really the soul of all of this. Everyone knows him as a player on the court, and you see him in interviews. And obviously, he is what you see. He's passionate. He's passionate about basketball. He believes in this. He believes in the whole. Really, he was really the mind behind a lot of the design of this. And as far as the DNA of the street ball aspect of how we're rolling this brand out, that's something that really resonates with him. Someone, played in the playgrounds, played in the streets, and along with himself and a lot of his contemporaries played in the NBA. It's really like the DNA of the NBA, where guys come from. So, yes, it's 303 basketball, but there's a whole culture behind this street series we're doing that we're, hoping to really cast a light on. Having Kevin, KG as the face of it, the ambassador of it, obviously gives us a huge advantage in this sense as well, because he's, he can cast a spotlight on this and create some promotion for us that, George Daniel is always going to be able to do, obviously. So it's obviously, there are a lot on so many levels, but he's involved in all aspects of it. And he's just a great basketball and creative mind.
You were previously the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League. You have experience as an executive in Hoop It Up, minor league basketball back in the 90s. How did you get involved with Big Ticket Sports, and how did you meet KG? How do you get close with him?
Yeah, so when I left the National Lacrosse League, I started a small boutique law firm with some partners. And one of my retired partners had at one time been the counsel for the job counsel for the NBA Players Association. So KG came to us as a client, and that's how the relationship began. And so he's a client of our firm, of myself. And then, given my sports management background, we decided to form Big Ticket Sports. So it's really been a great opportunity for us. It's great working with him.
You mentioned that most people see Kevin as a player, but one of the things that we're seeing nowadays is that so many of these former NBA players, even some current NBA players, are launching their own companies and becoming big investors in a lot of different ventures. What are your thoughts on that? And because you have been around basketball since the 90s, how much of a shift is that from when you first, got involved in basketball to where things are at now, where guys are valuing equity and some of them are becoming moguls?
It's so true, and it's just such a different world. I mean, and as you said, I did start in minor league basketball in the 90s. And the idea of there wasn't even an opportunity to audio stream games. This is before Mark Cuban had his audio network. Yeah. So, you'd have to get somebody to like listen, dial a radio station and put you on hold to listen to a game that was far away. It was just, it's a different world. And so with that, you see all of the change in the last 25, 30 years with a lot of the streaming content. And that's been a big driver of it, being able to deliver that along with social media. There's just so many opportunities in the sports tech space that only, 30 years ago, we've heard about things that were coming, but to really now see them. And I think the players that you mentioned, are, they're keenly aware of that. I think they're today's generation of players, certainly the active players are, you have good and strong advisors, and they're keenly aware. They have their, the fingers on the pulse of all these deals and the deal flow that's coming in. And I think they're to be, commended, and for what they're developing and what they're building for their post-career.
What advice would you give to someone that wants to become a sports executive or work in sports?
Yeah, look, everybody takes a different path, right? I mean, my path was significantly different than most. I was a practicing attorney, and I decided to get involved in minor league basketball. Really, I was involved in sports 7 years, where I was actually paying my way, by investing in ventures. And it wasn't until I was working full time at the National Lacrosse League as general counsel and deputy commissioner, I was actually getting a salary. So it's a little unique situation. Everybody's different. But I will, look, I think the always one way in, I think it's always been through sales is always the big thing, right? If you're a star in sales, if you can, make the cash register ring, so to speak, there's always a spot for you in sports. That's not the only job. Obviously, there are a lot of other opportunities. Obviously, my legal background helped me advance in. So there's a lot of different ways, in the door. But I would urge anyone, any person coming out and wants to get into the industry, really there's lots more opportunity than there was then. There's so many franchises, so many teams, and I think, trying to land a job, even if it's part-time, to get experience is the main thing. I think that's the main thing, to get yourself some experience and start building that resume.
What are some other projects that Big Ticket Sports is working on currently?
Yes, well, one of our main property that we have, along with Hoop It Up and involved in Street, is Ticket Soccer, which is a 3v3, like Hoop It Up. It's a 3v3 platform for young soccer players. So that's our main properties, and we're continuing to look at other opportunities in sports realm to see what other things that we may be developing in the near future.
And then what are some of the biggest challenges, or what is it like, I guess, launching a 3-on-3 basketball league? I mean, I know you guys are putting in the work right now to kind of get it off the ground, but what kind of goes into that, and what does that really entail?
Yeah, look, there's a lot there. I mean, logistics, scheduling, player contracts, player procurement, scouting. There are so many aspects of it. As you said, I do have some experience, years ago in minor league basketball. There are some things I can draw from that, but it's also a different world. We're in the age of the digital age. So there's the content side of it. I mean, if you're talking about something 25, 30 years ago, it's strictly ticket sales and whatever sponsors you can get. Yeah, those things can still be very important, obviously. But there's also opportunity here when we're talking about sponsorships and data and content. It becomes a different world. And so there's so many things that, right now we're working with. And TLN, who are our partners in this, are have been great. They, as I said, we set forth 4 years ago to try to create a pro 3x3 league. And it wasn't until we connected with TLN that we felt we had the right partner in it. Their experience in their brief time with operations, distributions, and most notably in the data and incredible sports market was just a great fit for us. And that's why we decided to work with PLN and watching this venture.
As I mentioned, you were the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League, and you really helped the league kind of go to the next level. What are your thoughts on just where lacrosse is at today? It feels like it's so much more popular and mainstream than it was, I'm sure, years ago when you were starting out in that league.
Yeah, so when I started in the league, it was the fall of 2000, and the National Lacrosse League, which is, for viewers who may get them confused, it's the indoor league. And we started the league had been around since the mid-90s, but it was Northeastern. A lot of the franchises were in New York State. There was a team in Toronto and Philadelphia, and that was pretty much it. So one of the things that we felt was necessary, what we came in, was to try to get it across the country. So during our second year, we expanded to Western Canada with teams in Calgary and Vancouver. Our third year, we were able to place a franchise with Crocky Sports, in Denver, which obviously owned the Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche. And that team became a hit and was drawing 15,000 fans a game that was known as the Pepsi Center. And so that was really one of the big models that we followed, was trying to partner with NHL teams when we could. The league today, I think, has 6 partnerships with NHL teams, I believe, with the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames, Buffalo Sabres, aforementioned Avalanche, Philadelphia Flyers. So, it really works well with hockey. You can play a hockey game in the morning and then a lacrosse game, or in the afternoon, and then play a lacrosse game in the evening. So, it's the sport overall. It continues to grow. I think it's amazing to watch it grow from the last 20 years. And now, like 3x3 basketball, it will at least be in the LA Olympics, in 2028, I believe. And so that was announced this week. So I'm happy about that. I've got a lot of friends that are still in lacrosse, and really pleased to see the sport advance. It's got a great heritage with its origins from Native American community. It's got a great story that I think a lot of people don't know. And I would urge any of your listeners to, look into that if you don't know about the origins of the sport. It's a 700-year-old sport with a beautiful story to tell.
Absolutely. Is there anything else about the Street 3-on-3 basketball league that we haven't covered, or that, you want to add?
Yeah, no, I just think, we're really excited about the opportunity. We think this, I think our long-term goal is that we'd love to see Street, grow and build it. We'll start with the first series, but we'd love to see it grow and really have Street, where you can always turn the TV on, there's a Street game going on. I think, 5-10 years from now, that would be our ultimate goal. So we just think there's enormous opportunity here, and we're really looking forward to the launch.
So for fans that are excited about this new league, its first games are starting in early 2024, correct?
The plan is to launch early 2024. I think we're targeting February. Okay. So that's the goal at this point. And the plan is that there'll be series of 3 to 4 weeks in a single location, and then we would move them around like most likely. So the first one we're targeting probably in the Northeast United States sometime in early 2024. It should be an announcement coming out in the next month or so.
I love it. Well, everyone, make sure you guys check out Street Basketball, the new 3-on-3 league that Big Ticket Sports and Kevin Garnett are co-launching with Crow League Network. Very exciting stuff. And George, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Alex, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the time. Appreciate your interest.
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Prize Picks. Now, if you haven't played Prize Picks, you are missing out. It's a daily fantasy sports app where you pick 2 to 6 players and pick whether they'll score more or less points than their Prize Pick projection. If you're right, you win big. You can win 25 times your money on any entry. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections. Prize Picks offers projections on virtually every sport: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, overseas basketball, cricket, and more. You can mix and match players from different sports, so you could have LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes in the same entry, for example. If you download Prize Picks today and use the promo code RUNNING, they'll double your deposit up to $100. That's the promo code RUNNING, and they'll double your deposit up to $100. It takes 30 seconds or less to build a lineup. To show you how easy it is, I'm going to build a lineup right now. All right, so you go over to Prize Picks, and right now they're doing a special where if Steph Curry has 1 point in the Warriors' first game against the Suns, then you win. So we're going to say more than 0.5 points for Steph Curry. And then let's go over to the NFL. I like doing the receiving yards. That's been working for me lately. So we're going to go more than 81.5 receiving yards for A.J. Brown. We're going to do a $20 entry. And just like that, we are good to go. We are entered for this weekend. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. If you guys want to try it out, make sure to use that promo code RUNNING, and they'll double your first deposit up to $100. That's the promo code RUNNING.